You'll know a lot about what XRP is doing, how that will affect the price, and how much XRP is worth on the market if it does everything it's supposed to do by the end of today's video. It's a lot of information, and many of the things you will learn have never been seen before, so pay close attention. Now I've been playing. We've been playing with some AI tools, and this is one of the newest releases. To put it simply, I asked the Grok AI tool, which is great for doing math, to look into XRP in case Bitcoin, the most famous cryptocurrency, goes up to $13 million, 0 cents per coin. Now explain my choice of $13 million, 0 cents per coin. This is about how much Bitcoin will be when it changes into a world reserve. This will happen for sure if the US keeps buying Bitcoin, which many US states do. The same is true for Europe. More and more China and Russia are using Bitcoin. They are also collecting it and using it for trade stocks and, of course, to store value. A lot of people like Michael Saylor, because he says he thinks Bitcoin will $13,000 each. That might make you wonder what it has to do with XRP. Well, the prices of all cryptocurrencies move in tandem, but Bitcoin's price moves first and foremost during a bull run. Other coins will follow, and a close study of how Bitcoin and XRP have changed over time gives us a good idea of what will happen. What will happen to XRP if Bitcoin really does reach $13 million, 0 cents per coin? This could happen in a few years. It's a good question. We asked the AI tool to do the math, and it did a great job. Now we can see that if Bitcoin searches for $13 million, 0 cents per coin, which is 150 to 8 times more than its current price of about $83, 0 cents, XRP is likely to see big price changes because Bitcoin and altcoins tend to go up together. In the past, when markets were rising, XRP did better than Bitcoin. For example, it rose 300 times in 2017, while Bitcoin only rose 20 times, and it rose 7 times in 2021, while Bitcoin only rose 5 times. It seems likely that the price of XRP could hit $163.50 from its current level of $25.00, which would give it a market value of about $9.5 trillion. XRP could rise 10 times to $2.07 per coin. But if the market is very bullish, that would mean in value of $120 trillion, 0 cents, $900 billion, 0 cents, which is crazy. You might think that $20, 0 cents, $2,000, 0 cents, or even more is a lot of money. But XRP is actually holding its value very well right now, while other coins like Solana are losing value. It makes a lot more sense for XRP to keep taking market share away from the big dog in the area. As XRP has gone up by, say, 300 times since the event, $2.70 per coin is a lot of money, but this is possible in the long run. What would the price of one XRP coin be if it were used for 50% of Swift's payments? That's what I asked the AI tool, and it said that this value could be changed in a number of ways for XRP to be used in 50% of Swift's volume. There are likely to be a lot of financial institutions that agree to it because Ripple has partnerships with companies like JP Morgan and Hidden Road. The SEC lawsuit also needs to be settled before rules can be made clear. With 2 billion more P added in 2025, whale buildup could lower the supply, which would make prices go up even though $8.00 billion will be put into ETFs in 2025. This could make steady coins more of a threat to demand. Alternatively, CBDCs or other blockchains might limit XRP's market share, and a fast rate might stop price increases. The $312.00 to $562.00 price range is just a guess based on the idea that there won't be any big changes in. Based on the Swiss economy, a price of $625, 0 cents means that the market is worth $36 trillion, 0 cents, or $500 billion, 0 cents. This is about the same as the current value of gold, which is $16 trillion, 0 cents. There are more facts given, but this is really strange, right? In the worst case, that's more than 10 times the current price of $2.00. In the best case, that's hundreds of times the current price of $2.00. It's crazy. The XRP community also wants to tokenize real world assets, which is a big deal. I asked Gruck how the price would change if all real world assets were tokenized, turned into tokens with XRP. For example, if 10% of XRP were tokenized, the price of XRP could go up or down by $4,000, 0 cents to $40, 0 cents per coin. Things will get really crazy when real world assets are tokenized. As you can see, this is a very positive view. If XRP is used to, if you tokenize all real world things, they could be worth $411,000, 0 cents each. It was about 4 C slash per coin if it was only used for 10%. And I think that's a reasonable goal we could reach with XRP. Really, it's one of the best cryptocurrencies, and things cost only 10% of what they do in real life. Right now, it's ranked third. In the end, I asked Rock, let's say that half of all Swift transactions happen on the XRPL. I think that's a very realistic way to look at what could be done here. 10% of RWA's real world assets are tokenized on the XRPL. If the price of a Bitcoin coin goes up to $13 million, 0 cents, what will happen to the price of XRP? I want you to understand something very clearly. I think all of these things will happen in the future, but we don't know for sure if they will in 2 years, after 3 years. We don't know for sure if it will be 4 or 5 years, but I think most of you will agree that XRPL is better than Swift in every way. It's likely that 10% of RWA will be turned into coins for a top 3. That's right, Grok. I asked him, what do you think? Bitcoin is the most popular cryptocurrency in its field, and I think it will finally reach $13 million, 0 cents per coin if things keep going the way they are. Grok gave a very detailed answer, but the right answer is clear from this picture. 50% of switch deals happen on the XRPL. If Bitcoin goes up to $13 million, 0 cents, 10% of RWAS will be tokenized, and the price of XRP could be anywhere from $600, 0 cents, to $2, 0 cents per coin. This is to find the best mix between the value that comes from Swift and RWAS being useful and the demand for Bitcoin from investors. If all of these things happen at the same time, I'm sure that will be above $1,000, 0 cents per coin. But it's cool to see that this is what XRP could become. From where it is now, we have more than 100x potential. It would be great if the Ripple team could keep reaching their goals and form. They now have deals with big companies like Hidden Road and will use XRPL for transactions worth billions of dollars. It's crazy to think that things like this are possible. This is what could happen. I really wanted to show you this to show you the $20, 0 cents, 0 cents in XRP.